Tonight's pregame brought to you by Takis. Major playoff implications at stake for both teams tonight. Tampa Bay trying to solidify themselves in the upper half of the Eastern Conference. Charlotte's on the outside looking in and running out of games to make up ground. Big match tonight in Greater Charlotte. I'm Brendan Gulick along with Ryan Davis. Ryan, let's start with this Tampa Bay Rowdies team. Last time out, they felt like they got robbed of 3 points.
Well, the beautiful game can also be the most cruel game. The Rowdies did everything right in our Lang Stadium. El Capitan Seba Guenzati scored that night and tied the record, the all-time Rowdy record for a regular season. But they're going to need him tonight again to get 3 points in Charlotte.
He's done a nice job tonight. 2 lineup changes, though, for Tampa, which we will get to in a bit. Meanwhile, Kwadwo Poku, a guy that I think really needs to play well tonight.
Well, Kwadwo Poku was challenged by his coach, Neil Collins, to get more goals. He has only 8 shots all season long. He responded with 2 goals 2 games ago. They're going to need more of Kwadwo Poku tonight to upset this Charlotte team on the road and get 3 points for the Rowdies.
Charlotte, for whatever reason this year, has been bad, just flat out bad on the road. But they've defended their home turf pretty well. Ricardo Bocanegra's got big shoes to fill tonight, though.
He's going to be covering for the Kevon George, who's away on international duty. He's going to have to battle in the center circle, try to keep possession, and also make tackles and disrupt plays. He's going to have a full 90 minutes tonight. Coach Jeffries believes in him. It should be a big night for Bocanegra.
All 5 victories for Charlotte this season have come on their home turf. They haven't won any of their last 7, and they've got a team coming in with a lot to play for. Starting lineups, opening kick when we come back.
My card.
Misplace your debit card? Turn it off with your app.
Excuse me, my card.
This one's gotta be yours, right?
Yes.
And turn it on when you find it.
These are the hands of Novant Health. The hands saving lives. Taking control when it matters most. These are the hands advancing care. They're skillful, precise, and compassionate.
It's gonna be okay from here.
They're the hands giving you strength. Those same hands delivering specialized care also take the time to hold yours. And they'll be waving goodbye as you walk out of our doors and back to your life. These are the hands of Novant Health, the hands making healthcare remarkable.
Thanks. It's like a smart thing. What's the weather?
Sunny. Perfect chicken eating weather.
How'd you get in here?
It's time for chicken.
What's the traffic like?
Rerouting you to chicken.
Okay.
Hey, Calzo, order pizza.
Ordering chicken.
No, pizza.
Chicken.
Okay, chicken it is.
Chick-fil-A nuggets make dinner delightful.
Now that's smart.
Beautiful rendition of the national anthem tonight as the teams take the field. Charlotte Independence, they are clinging to playoff hopes, but at the moment on the outside looking in, Tampa Bay, they very much have a top-of-the-table finish in mind, but they need some help, only 2 points behind second place. Let's take a look at the starting lineups. We'll begin with the Charlotte side here at home. Charlotte's got a much different-looking starting lineup than they had last time out, 4 changes in total.
Well, Charlotte's own Dominic Duro is going to be starting tonight for the legend Hector Herrera, who started last week. That's more speed up top, looking to counter-attack against this Rowdies team that have a habit of pushing up really high and leaving that back 3 exposed.
Enzo Martinez usually takes a lot of the spotlight for this Charlotte attack. Don't forget to keep your eye on him as well. How about for these Tampa Bay Rowdies, another team that likes to attack in a different way, and they've got plenty of options.
Well, Andrew Tanari, who's their original playmaker, is not playing tonight on the road. Coach Collins going for a more industrious sort of look. Jordan Doherty coming inside to cover that counter-attack, to have two men at the base just on top of the back three in case there is a counter-attack, which will allow them some cover in case they get caught red-handed.
Irishman Doherty is in for Tenari, who is available, by the way, off the bench.
It's the moment we've all been waiting for. We're getting set for
All right, both teams are just about ready for tonight. Why don't we start on the Charlotte side? Your thought in terms of maybe a big key to the game for Charlotte. Obviously, it's been a poor run of form lately and frustrating for them. But they've got a chance to just wipe the slate clean tonight and play one of the better teams in the league.
Well, it's important for Charlotte to try and get a goal early. They are disastrous when coming from behind or the score is tied. When they have a goal or they get up on top, you have 2 wins and 1 draw, which means the 3 times they have gone up on top, they've been indestructible.
We'll find out if they can maintain that form tonight if they score early. Last win for Charlotte came against St. Louis on July 13th, more than a month and a half ago. That was the second of back-to-back wins, but since then, 3 points in their last 7 games. On the Tampa Bay side, they are slipping a little bit, but perhaps their 4th place standing in the league doesn't totally represent the way that they've played. I know things haven't gone well the last 4 games, but they are still right there.
Yeah, I think it's sort of getting back to basics for Coach Collins. When they press high and everybody's picking up their defensive responsibilities, they are so hard to beat. I mean, they created their own record this year with clean sheets, minutes without conceding, but they've seemed to have sort of gone away with that. But for good reason. They've created more chances going forward. Malik Johnson coming in halfway through the season on the right-hand side, more attacking option than David Najim was. So they've created more chances and scored more goals. Now, as a result of that, they've been a little bit more exposed at the back. So for the Rowdies, it's to get back to basics, get back to pressuring the ball, which they did do against Nashville last week. Sadly, for their sake, they did lose. But if they stick to their basics, they are a really hard team to beat.
Greg Dopka, our head referee this evening. There's a good look at Greg. He's ready for the opening whistle.
We told them.
All right, time to rock and roll. Charlotte and Tampa Bay, Saturday night, the first weekend in September. That's enough to tell you by itself that it is crunch time in USL Championship. Obviously, Tampa right now in good position. Charlotte needs some points in a big way if they want to find their way into the postseason. Charlotte will be in their home blue kits. That's a pretty dangerous cross sent ahead, but Tampa Bay not able to quickly put one home.
Well, Malik Johnson, just known for his service on that right-hand side, and Juan Tejada, known as the fox in the box, just making another great run to that near post. Just couldn't get all of his head on it.
I've got my
and here's Johnson again.
Malik Johnson on the right, measuring up the defense, needed some help. Solid work defensively. Alex Martinez comes away with it. And a tough tackle up top. Good sportsmanship from Diakite.
But notice how aggressive the Rowdies are. That was Diakite, their last man, way up in the Charlotte side of the field, putting in that tackle.
Last time out, Charlotte finished with a 0-0 draw against Charleston, and we spoke at length with Mike Jeffries about that very opportunity. Last time he said, you know, it's been frustrating. He felt that it was a disappointing result because they knew they needed to win the game. But beyond that, he said it, probably started decently enough in terms of possession. They just didn't create enough chances, and that seems to be a common theme for the Charlotte side. They're not creating the chances that they really need to.
Well, a lot of that falls on their number 19, the captain Enzo Martinez, 2-time former runner-up for the MVP, is not having a Martinez-esque type of season.
Sure.
Only 3 goals thus far and 6 assists. I mean, the assists are there, but they need more goals from him since he's playing so high up. Tonight playing with Dominic Aduro. But with that classic number 10 role playing behind the forward, they need goals in that spot to put them in a position to get wins.
I totally agree with you. You don't want to call it a total lack of production because he hasn't had a bad year, but you're right, he hasn't lived up to the standard that we're used to seeing from him. Anytime Enzo Martinez is on the field, you almost have to feel like he's going to draw somebody's attention because the capability is there. For whatever reason here in 2019, the execution has not been.
Just an all-round package. Martinez can run at people, excellent distributor. And he's also feisty. He can get stuck in for 90 minutes and win tackles and disrupt the back, well, tonight the back three for the Rowdies, but usually a back four for the opposition because he's not afraid to put in tackles and challenge.
See if Charlotte can work their way through the left side. This is Alex Martinez flipping back to the middle of the field. A little give and go didn't work. Good takeaway. More connection though, back for Charlotte.
Years, you're gonna get everybody.
And
you're good. They come to you.
Just interested to see how this Charlotte team presses this Rowdies away side right now.
He'll be president.
Looks like Martinez is playing pretty high up, trying to disrupt that back three from distributing the ball.
Good work shielding defensively. Hugh Roberts, he's a staple back there for Charlotte. Rowdies on the move. Malik Johnson, a negative pass here. Jordan Doherty also playing a critical role tonight, not just because he's starting, but because of where he's playing on the field. He certainly is a high energy guy.
Sure, Coach Collins definitely has that away type mentality tonight, taking off one of his playmakers, bringing Doherty in, a more defensive type player to cover for Karu Poku and Gwenzati in case the play breaks down. That was a great bit of screening by Hugh Roberts, just bodying off Tejada.
No score, 5th minute. Again, Charlotte, all 5 of their wins this year have come on their home field. Gonna throw in on the far side. Kevon George, Joel Johnson, both away on international duty. A couple of other guys missing tonight, Hassan Nadam and Jake Arman, both unavailable. That's a hard foul. It draws the ire of the official. No booking though.
Well, one thing the Rowdies have done consistently all years is been physical, and they've taken a page right out of their coach Neil Collins' book. He was a physical player and also the type of coach that demands that of his players. And the number 11, Sabea, who's only 19 years old for the Charlotte team. Like a typical Argentine playmaker, low center of gravity, shifty player, drawing the foul this time.
19 Sabea likes to play wide on the left. He's very talented in open space, especially when he's out wide.
Now, Coach Mike Jeffries is a big supporter of set pieces. So look for this Charlotte team to try and create something here on dead ball pieces.
And Saleh into the middle. Oh, it was well played, headed wide left. But the idea is certainly there, just a little bit off target for Moduro. Little contact, but they'll play through it.
Life after soccer.
Over the top. Flag apparently stays down.
Beautiful ball from Poku.
Gwenzati lays it back. Needs a little bit of help. Rolled harmlessly in front of the net, and amazingly it goes in. Tejada makes it 1-0. Somehow Brandon Miller lost it.
Well, the Samba man, Leo Fernandez, using trickery on the left-hand side. Just plays this ball hard across the 6-yard box. Waiting to see the replay to see if Juan Tejada got a foot on it. Here's Gwenzati waiting for support. Fernandez low and hard, and looks like Tejada, the fox in the box, just getting a toe on it and getting it past Brendan Miller. 1-0 Rowdies, the perfect start for the visitors, a nightmare for the home team.
Oh, Brandon Miller, you could see the look on his face. Completely flabbergasted that somehow snuck by him. And this Charlotte side, which has been dealt adversity over and over again, finds themselves playing from behind. I mean, Ryan, you mentioned it right off the top how important it was for Charlotte to play from out front.
Don't worry.
The error magnified here early on against a Tampa side that is hungry to make up for the fact
Who scored that one?
that they did not come away with a result last time out.
Well, 7 of their 11 losses have come from when they've played from behind, so not good news for this Charlotte team. Well, totally taking the wind out of the sails of Charlotte here. Great counter punch by the Rowdies. But this is the time when Coach Jeffries has to remind his guys it's still only 8 minutes into the game. You play exactly the same way you started the game. No time to panic. Just get your foot on the ball, get confidence going, and then build on that confidence throughout the 90 minutes. So the game plan does not change for Charlotte. As for the Rowdies, well, same thing. You have a goal under your belt, but it's too early to adjust in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, you're right. Because it's so early on, you don't want to get away from what you had game planned for the evening, but it's certainly, if you're on the Charlotte side, it's enough to mentally deflate you a little bit. And if you're on the Tampa Bay side, it's hard to hit the reset button completely because you know that you've come out and been effective here early on. And frankly, I think Mike Jeffries might even admit, I mean, that was not a completely soft goal, but not one he certainly was okay with giving up. Malik Johnson sends this one across and some backside help. Able to clear it out for just a minute.
Well, you talked about the mental part of it. Talk about confidence now for the Rowdies. And Malik Johnson, who's never short on confidence, but everybody else in a white shirt now sort of raises up to that level, getting a goal so early.
Well, the crowd here in Charlotte certainly not as into it as they would have liked to be because of the early goal. And frankly, this is going to test your leadership too if you're Charlotte, and we talked with Mike Jeffries about that. This ball on the near side's played forward and too far out in front of Johnson. He said, look, we've got a relatively veteran group, but we got to find ways to be tougher and not be so easy to play against in certain situations. I think perhaps that sticks out in his mind after that early goal.
Well, just look at the ages of some of these players. Ricardo Bocanegra, who they just picked up last month, 30 years old. Dominic Aduro playing up top, he's 33. Enzo Martinez, the captain, 28. You talk about veteran leadership. This Charlotte team has been searching for that all season long, and it does fall on the laps of these players, this bunch, if you will.
This is Caleb Richards trying to make a move to the outside, able to avoid 1 and 2 defenders. Now Tejada.
Great recovery.
Marvelous play by Alex Martinez. Goes back wide to the right. Little back heel touch.
Just looking at this Rowdies team now, every person in a white shirt is now in the Rowdies half. Staying compact, trying to counter-attack now that they have that 1-goal lead.
Bocanegra goes to his right.
Bring it in. Powerful, vibrant, nutrient-rich fuel for healthy active.
Step over from Sabella.
So you can be your best self, live your best life, and rule the day. Smoothie King, proud sponsor of the show.
Tonight's match presented to you by Wells Fargo, as Charlotte takes a shot from a long way out.
But with the Rowdies staying so compact and so deep, there are going to be moments where you can take a crack like what Enzo Martinez just did from way out. But with John McCarthy in goal for the Rowdies, who's been superb between the sticks all season long, they're going to allow shots from 30, 25 yards out all day long.
That was a pretty tough challenge. Roberts went up and kind of extended that right elbow, and the whistle came late, but thought it was an appropriate violation.
So tough for referees when the ball is in the air to get the call right. There's so much incidental contact, and yet there's also aggressive contact with intent. And referees have a thankless job of keeping that in check for 90 minutes.
Richards waiting and waiting. Finally starts play again. Back to Pape Diakite. Rod sends a long ball forward out of play.
Well, that's not the typical sort of distribution you see from a Rowdies team. Murad going long instead of short to Malik Johnson. Seems to be a bit of a misunderstanding there.
Alex Martinez, long ball over the top. Enzo can't get there.
Alex Martinez is one of those players that's going to have to sort of stem the flow here for this Charlotte team. Yes, they're 1-0 down. Yes, it was a bit unlucky, but the midfielders have to get a hold of the game and set the tempo for the home team. Martinez is one of the chosen few to do that.
Nicely headed back toward the middle of play for Mansali. Tampa Bay on the move. Playing wide left. What does Fernandez have in store? He's already got an assist. Spun that one just a little bit too late. And a goal kick.
Coach Jeffries was talking about the wide players for the Rowdies in Malik Johnson and Leo Fernandez. So hard to stay in front of them. Excellent dribblers, great pace on the ball. So players like Alex Martinez and Taku, the former Rowdy player, are going to have a long night staying in front of those wing backs coming forward.
Wow, Brandon Miller heads that one forward. Last line of defense, Murad able to get his left leg on it.
What a great attempt that was by Martinez, trying to thread that ball to through.
Back wide to the right. Looking for options. Deflected into no man's land. Boku is there to help clean things up momentarily. Taku.
This is exactly what Charlotte needs, to try to grab the Bulls by the horn and try to take control of the game at home here. Get on the ball, get some confidence going.
They've been better about possession here lately as Alex Martinez looks to his right. Charlotte trails 1-0. Juan Tejada scoring in the 7th minute to give Tampa Bay an early 1-0 lead on the road. Another long shot, just missed wide left. It's a good look. Goal kick.
I think it's Bocanegra.
Well, we talked about Ricardo Bocanegra and the big shoes he has to fill tonight with Kevon George being on international duty. Ball laid back on top of the box. Here it is again. There was Sabea who laid it back, and Bocanegra, excellent contact, great strike. Just past McCarthy's right hand.
Goal kicks in play.
But positive play by the home team. Exactly what Coach Jeffries wants.
Caleb Richards will throw in.
Caleb Richards, the leader on this team in minutes, has been the renaissance man for Coach Collins. Has played left wing back, left center back. He's basically undroppable in this system. Excellent defensively, and also fantastic as an excellent ball handler, which makes it a coach's dream.
Yeah, you want to talk about making yourself so versatile that you can't be taken off the field or flat out off the 18 on any given night. And Richards has been that guy for sure. No ill will there, just a little brush up. Tampa Bay entered the night with 49 points. 4th place in the East. Behind, of course, New York is having a great year. Nashville and Indy marginally in front. Offside flags. Up.
Yes, yes. We don't know their names.
Instead of the name, right?
Yes, yes.
Gets it back. Good idea going back central.
He was getting some ice out of the pool.
Beautiful play by Bocanegra. Great control in the center circle.
Maduro.
It was his headset. It was his headset.
A sloppy tackle, but no foul called. Instead, Bocanegra looking around, waiting for some help.
Dude, everybody's a fucking jokester on this thing.
That's precisely the place Enzo Martinez needs to do his work. Just in that pocket in between defense and midfield. Couldn't pick out the pass there. That's his spot where Coach Jeffries wants him to operate. Allow players to come around him when he gets the ball. Create options for him, where he can create a shot for himself or for someone else.
1-0 Rowdies in the 19th minute.
Scored earlier was actually scored by number 17, Tejada.
Just made an announcement of the stadium to correct whatever announcement they had previously made about the goal scored. They correctly, the stadium, have credited to Tejada. Not sure who they originally gave it to there, but it was certainly his 9th goal of the year. On a ball played by Leo Fernandez from pretty deep on the left side of the box.
That's Leo Fernandez's 7th assist for the year. He's in the USL top 5 in assists.
For good reason. He's got some pretty impressive targets. Obviously, Zati, one of the top scorers, not only this year in franchise history, but certainly across USL Championship.
No, BA said 17. Yeah.
Sweet move. Maybe a minor opening for Johnson.
Wide
left to Fernandez. He drives one low and tried to pick out the right post. Just missed it.
Well, from one wing back to another, Malik Johnson, just a thankless job to stay in front of him. Lazy ball across, accidentally to Leo Fernandez. And we talked about confidence a little while ago, getting that goal. Has a crack from 25 yards out, no problem.
Lined up and let it fly with no hesitation whatsoever. Just a little off target. This Tampa Bay side is in control early on, playing loose and with the sense of freedom after scoring in the 7th minute.
Just looking at Bocanegra, how lively he is on the ball. Exactly what Coach Jeffrey wanted. The Charlotte side needs.
This one's flipped over. It's headed back into the middle of the box. It's a pretty good decision.
Good distribution as well from McCarthy.
Tampa Bay has certainly been willing to attack up the left side here early. Do you see a matchup on the defensive alignment from Charlotte that leads you to believe that might be a preferred side?
I think it stems a lot from Caleb Richards on that left side for the Rowdies defense.
Okay.
Because he's so confident on the ball, he's willing to take the ball into space, into dangerous space, which allows Leo Fernandez on the left side to get open, or to allow Gwenzati to get open as well. That's why the Rowdies are so difficult to cover on that left-hand side, because it starts with Caleb Richards.
Well, friends, you can get all the latest Independence gear now at shopcharlotteindependence.com. The Charlotte side knows that their chances here this season are running out. They need to take advantage of a team that's ahead of them in the Eastern Conference. Frankly, it doesn't get any easier with having to travel to New York and play Red Bulls 2 next time out. They'll get a brief reprieve against Swope Park Rangers, who are having a tough go at it this year, but then they play a Hartford team that came away with a heck of a win earlier today over Loudoun, 5-1. This is a tough month of September for Charlotte Independence.
Well, with 6 points out, I think after this game, only 7 games remaining. Just about every game for Charlotte going forward is almost like a final. They have to get something out of any game. I mean, of course, they would love a win tonight, but even if a draw, We just can't afford to lose and drop points.
I don't think that'll work.
Right down the middle of the pitch. Poku to his right. This is Malik Johnson. He's got Tejada centrally with Poku. Claude Poku overran it. Fernandez, perhaps.
Juan Tejada just using himself perfectly to play the ball off of. We've seen Claude Poku playing a more of attacking midfield role, where usually Andrew Tenari plays. The newfound Poku over the last month and a half has allowed Gil Collins to push him up there.
There's no doubt if he can get going, he changes the entire dynamic of their attack.
Yeah, I mean, with his ball handling skills and the size of his body, it's just so hard to stay in front of. And when players commit to him, he has that ability to pick out the pass, that assist, or the pass before the assist that creates goals for this Rowdies team.
Size, strength, power, he definitely has all of that. And he had an incredible highlight goal, tucking one in the top left corner of the net from outside of the box not long ago. Showing flashes of his ability for sure. Here's Malik Johnson. He's got space to work, and he's got help centrally. Malik Johnson taps to his right. Johnson's taken down. No foul.
Who's up? What camera's up?
Well, coaches bring game plans to every single game. But when you have a player like Malik Johnson who goes past players, the game plan sort of goes out the window. So hard to cover. Looks like Johnson at the end there took a dive. I would say the referee quite rightly not calling a penalty. Going down very easily.
Throw in.
It's referee Greg Dopka who's running back to check on the Tampa Bay midfielder Johnson. Johnson just now getting to his feet.
The hands up in the air, looks like he was winded, maybe because of the fall. But certainly not enough contact there for Johnson. Now the midfield general for Coach Collins.
On the other side, what kind of impact have you seen the lack of Joel Johnson and Kevon George in particular being on the field tonight? How's that impacted Charlotte right now?
Well, so far I think Bocanegra and Alex Martinez have done a great job in their absence. Just want to see Dominica do for Charlotte to try to make more cutting runs, more sharp runs, to create space, almost like a wide receiver creating separation. You want to see that run by your number 9, he's not wearing number 7, but the position is the number 9, we'll call it tonight. You want to see those runs by your number 9, so the midfielders will actually have a target to play a through ball and create a chance. So I think the midfielders are doing their job. Just want to see more movement by Enzo Martinez and Dominica Duro for the Charlotte team.
Yeah, Enzo in particular hasn't had a chance to really get involved yet tonight. Some of that's been because Tampa Bay's controlled things offensively. Tejada almost found himself in another high percentage scoring area.
Great effort by Sebastian Guenzati. Not only the captain, wearing the captain armband, but he's also the leader emotionally. He leads by example, just going after every single ball in his area. Just love the look of this young Sabea, number 11 for Charlotte.
Cutting in action from Afram Taku, former Rowdy himself.
And if you wanted a snippet of what Kwadwo Poku can do, you just saw it. Wins the challenge and then just shrugs off his guy and has the ball handling skills that are just laid off.
Those are the kinds of things that don't really show up in a box score, and yet if you appreciate the intricacies of the game, that's almost as much fun to watch as it is to see a guy actually thread the needle and put one in the net.
Yep.
Here's Alex Martinez.
People often forget what happens in the 18-yard box usually starts 30 yards before. So it's plays like that that are very telling.
Sabella couldn't really find an opening to pull the trigger there. Mike Jeffries was very complimentary of this Tampa Bay defense, and right now, Charlotte's having trouble solving them. Centering ball headed clear. It's a good idea defensively there from Diakite. And a corner kick coming. First corner of the match, and this corner kick is brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
Well, Dominic Adura is not exactly the tallest person on the field, but the intent was right. Excellent job trying to thread that over Papati Kite. In the end, the big man put the head to it. But corner kick to Charlotte.
Abdoulaye Mensali will take the corner kick for Charlotte, their first of the match. It comes in the 28th minute, down 1-0. Mensali curls a low ball in. Was into a really dangerous area, but fell to a defender. Tampa Bay calm and collected there.
That was excellent service right in front of that 6-yard box. So hard to defend.
Enzo, explosive move on that right sideline. Decided to pull back when he needed a little help. Alex Martinez flings one out to the right. Controlled by Taku. His pass in deflected.
Well, Taku, the former Rowdy player, is certainly going to have a little chip on his shoulder tonight. With Leo Fernandez getting that assist, surely can't be too happy.
Yeah, good job.
He's going to try to get one back for his Charlotte team tonight.
Alex Martinez hangs one up in the air. And Sally couldn't get to it. Good try, though.
Well, good idea by Martinez, trying to change things up. A lot of short passing was happening the last couple of minutes. This time trying to go long. But McCarthy, excellent job picking it out.
Whistle's finally blown, and it's against Charlotte, which leaves some serious head scratching for Valentin Sabela.
It's odd call by referee Greg Dobka. Looks like Malik Johnson was the culprit, but got the call in his favor this time. So just about 30 minutes gone. The Rowdies doing well in possession. Just over 50%, 52%. While Coach Jeffries was concerned before this game of the Rowdies' ability to counter-press and not wanting to get caught in possession. So it looks like Charlotte has allowed the Rowdies a little more possession in order to escape that counter-press that the Rowdies are so good at.
Here's Poku. Centers this back. Gordon Doherty. Chance attacking for Richards up the left side. He's got so much room to work. Wide left, Fernandez drives one off a defender for a throw-in.
Well, great defending in the end by Taku. Stayed in front of Leo Fernandez and cut off the angle for the cross. More importantly, just 2 steps behind, in front of Fernandez.
How about Tejada? Long way out. If nothing else, just showing the boldness to let one rip. Why not?
Getting that goal in the first 8 minutes of the match will bring on this sort of confidence. Tejada within just sniffing range of the goal.
Juan Tejada, only 22 years old, and frankly, in the nicest way, he looks like it. He's got a baby face. He's just a young kid from Panama, but he plays with a ton of confidence. Appearing this year in now his 26th game for Tampa Bay, making his 18th start.
Just an amazing story from Juan Tejada. The walk-on, the guy who got a tryout for the Rowdies at the beginning of the season, is now the starting center forward alongside the captain Seba Gwenzati. 9 goals already this season, like you mentioned. A bit of a rags to riches story, if you will.
Well, Poku has an opportunity here, split a defender and sort of created his own fall there. Appropriately so, no call.
A good challenge in the end by Aaron Munt, but it just showed Kwadu Poku's adventurous spirit, getting right into the box. Munt making enough contact on the ball to disrupt him.
Hugh Roberts to his right. you've tuned in late, along with Ryan Davis, I'm Brendan Gulick in the greater Charlotte, North Carolina tonight. The Charlotte Independents are trying to snap a 7-game winless streak. And Tampa Bay is trying to get back into the win column. They've dropped 3 of their last 4. Perhaps something here for Boca Negra. Lengthier possession, still developing. Martinez. Oh, it's a crafty ball into the middle. Swing and a miss. Ball not dead yet. Sabela couldn't finish it off. That could have been a candidate for goal of the year had it gone in. But no connection at the end of things.
Well, that all started with Alex Martinez asking the question. A lovely little chip ball into the box. Sabia getting in a dangerous position, trying the adventurous sort of scissors kick. In the end, didn't work out, but that's the type of play that Coach Jeffries wants.
Back to Doherty. He sent it across the face of the goal, but nobody quite caught up to it. Jordan Doherty again back in the starting lineup tonight, taking the place of Tenari.
Jordan Doherty from the Sheffield United Training Academy and youth system on loan to the Rowdies.
Tejada turns to his right, keeps it in play. Needs help. Malik Johnson, he's got an explosive first step. He's got the window, tried to rip a shot. Deflected though off of Mond. Now Fernandez opposite side. Tampa Bay just playing like they want it more at the moment. Fernandez spins around Roberts, but forgot the ball. And here comes Charlotte.
Well, Leo Fernandez trying to operate on that left-hand side, but in the end, great collective defended by Charlotte. Just to sort of corral him off the ball. And it just shows when the Samba man is in the mood, he can create. Already an assist so far in this game. 7-0 so far this season.
Fans, only 15 more minutes left to enter the win. Ricardo Boca Negra autographed Mexico jersey.
Well, folks, the next home game for Charlotte, Saturday, September 21st, with the Swope Park Rangers coming to town. Still great seats available. Purchase your tickets now, www.charlotteindependence.com. Tampa Bay on the road has made a good impression so far in the first half here. Frankly, there's been times where they feel like the bullies on the street corner have had very little resistance.
Much better.
Looks like a training round session now. Tampa Bay forming little triangles.
And then they're like, all right, you're done.
Gets out of pressure, away from the left-hand side, now out to the right. Just excellent ball movement here.
Tackle from behind, definite whistle. Waiting to see if the referee goes to his pocket. I don't think he's going to give him a caution, but a stern finger wagging, if you will.
Interesting decision by referee Dobka. The Rowdies had the ball, had possession. If you're going to call the foul and stop the play, not play the advantage, and allow the game to flow. Oh, just a hack from behind from Aaron Mount. No yellow card given, and that would surely be the only reason to stop the game, to stop the flow, would be to give a card. Instead, it was just a stern talking to.
Well, certainly Mond had to have been told that that was his last warning. We'll see if Tarek Morad send this one into an appropriate spot. Instead, he goes wide to Johnson. Oh, creative little play. Johnson ends up keeping possession. Gets help from Poku, who spins one toward the backside. Fernandez heads it toward the middle, and Tejada can't catch up to it. Good development from Tampa Bay, and then everybody overran it. Comes Charlotte Independence.
Well, good recovery by the Rowdies, but that was Charlotte's chance to get a bit of a counter-attack. Now some loose distribution here on that right-hand side.
How much of that is a lack of focus as opposed to just execution not being there?
I think like 37
can't, the
minutes
ref's in
into the
front of me.
game, a bit of fatigue has started to
The
set
ref is
in.
standing right in front of me.
And when fatigue sets in, passing becomes errant. Like you said, the focus goes, and once the mind goes, the body follows. So I think it's a little bit more fatigue starting to set in.
That seems to be his spot.
Players starting to wait for the half.
Frankly, I think Guenzati had a reasonable argument there that that one didn't leave the field of play, although he practically sat on top of the ball. So I guess you got to have some give and take, right? Vaughn clears it away. Enzo Martinez leaps over the sliding Fernandez.
Just so skillful, Enzo Martinez.
Enzo wants to get his teammates involved. This is Boca Negra. A couple of creative touches does not cost Charlotte possession. Taku. Enzo once more. Sabela with the left foot. Flicks it over, had a good idea connecting with Mansale, but a little bit too little on the pass. Good teamwork by the Rowdies in a chaotic setting, and they rid the danger.
So with 6 minutes remaining in the half, I think Coach Jeffries is going to want a little bit more positivity when they have possession. Possession with a purpose, if you will. See, Enzo Martinez is the guy to force the action.
Enzo going up the right side, feeds the corner, Taku on one touch, into the middle, Mansale heads it straight down and it bounces over the top of the bar. Harmlessly for a goal kick, but not without some drama.
Well, Martinez drew some players and laid it off to the right. And it was Taku with an excellent bit of service. And Mansale, great technique, heading the ball down, but just too far down. And the ball bouncing over the goal. As McCarthy takes a breath of fresh air after that one.
McCarthy cracks it down the field. It'll be a throw-in for Tampa Bay.
And also, going back to Coach Jeffries at the half, in order for Charlotte to turn this thing around, when Tampa do have the ball, the pressure on the ball has to be a little bit more intense. Try to break up a play. That's one of the easiest ways to get a goal, is by breaking up a play in midfield and counter-pressing the team when they're out of position, instead of building up slowly while the team gets a chance to sit back and defend. So if I was Coach Jeffries, be more assertive while having the ball, be more direct, and then defensively put more pressure on the ball in order to disrupt plays and get a counter-press situation on.
Caleb Richards telling everybody to press forward here. He wants to play this one ahead with the left foot. Hangs it up in the sky. It becomes way too easy for Brandon Miller. Does a nice job of getting rid of it quickly. He actually threw it too far out in front of Sabela. Crafty footwork from Murad.
Oh.
Struck ahead from Doherty. It's the right idea, but marginally off.
Good press by Charlotte, but good job by the Rowdies trying to work their way out of it. Jordan Doherty with an adventurous long ball.
Well, at the moment, Tampa Bay is outpossessed Charlotte, but not by too terribly much. Roughly 55% to 45%. Frankly, it's been the lengthy possessions in dangerous areas that lead you to believe that Tampa Bay is well out in front in this game. I realize it's only a 1-0 margin, my friend, but Charlotte has not really had too many threatening looks on goal, chances to tie it. Meanwhile, Poku's considering his options here. Richards approaching the box, goes wide to Fernandez.
This is the point where it gets dangerous.
Richards curls one across. This one's headed, but nothing behind it.
Damn it.
Lanzati just puts an easy one-hopper.
You know, just going back to what I said, Coach Jeffries would talk about defensively. I mean, Charlotte, only 37% of their duels won, which means when they're engaging, they're not really engaging. It's sort of a half-half attempt on the ball. They really have to commit in winning possession in the midfield and try and catch this Rowdies team in transition.
Taku chips one into the middle. It becomes a good look. Over the top of the bar for Dominic Oduro.
Afrim Taku is waking up here. In the last 10 minutes, he supplied 2 excellent crosses. Again, coming in on this right-hand side, taking Leo Fernandez on, splitting Oduro and Fernandez. Excellent cross. In the end, they couldn't convert. That's the sort of direct play that Coach Jeffries would want from this Charlotte team.
Hope you'll stick around for our halftime coverage. Give you a look at the upcoming schedules for both teams, as well as what's going on around the USL tonight. And a couple of news and notes that you might find interesting around USL Championship. Coming up again during our halftime coverage here in Charlotte. Final minute for stoppage time. Foul on Roberts, who's getting more and more animated as the day goes along because he finds himself being whistled for fouls several times.
And he has a perfect defender's mentality. I didn't do a thing, referee.
I never did anything wrong.
You have to believe me.
Look, see, here's my hands. Oh, classic.
No, that guy was like falling onto him.
All right, Fernandez looks like he wants to initiate the offense here.
But speaking of set pieces, Coach Collins will run Pape Diakite to try and get on the end of one of these crosses here from Leo Fernandez.
Fernandez cuts left. That one should be a throw-in. It is.
Minutes ago, looks like the Rowdies are not going to commit too many players forward here.
Right back to Fernandez. That was the combination for the early goal. How about a chance here? Ripped just over the top of the bar.
Well, Leo Fernandez to Kwadu Poku, and Poku, as usual, making excellent decisions. The trailer was Dominic Oduro. And Dominic Oduro, with 19 shots so far this season, just had his 20th, and it whizzed over the bar. So this Rowdies team playing full of confidence. If you're Coach Collins, don't change a thing. Sit deep. Try to play on the counter-attack a little bit. Be physical in your duels. And then with possession, come through that left-hand side with Leo Fernandez, or switch the play quickly to Malik Johnson. Allow their dribbling skills and pace to create some chances on that wing for the Rowdies.
Could be less than 30 seconds away here, perhaps, from that final whistle. Tampa Bay starting to move forward. We've eclipsed the minimum 1 minute mark. That's a clear-cut foul. And they whistle for halftime instead. All right, so we've reached the break where Tampa Bay got a goal in the 7th minute from Juan Tejada. His 9th of the year. There's Juan. And he puts Tampa Bay on the board on the road. 1-0 at the break. Your thoughts so far on the way this played out?
Well, I think Rowdies are playing the perfect away game mentality. They started off with an early goal, which gave them confidence, but they've sat behind the ball very organized. Meanwhile, Charlotte started off a little bit slow, a little bit lethargic, and finally worked their way into the half within the last couple of minutes. Coach Jeffries would want more intensity from his team being at home and so desperate for points in this scheduled game.
Halftime presented by Wells Fargo. It's coming up on the other side of this timeout. Tampa Bay 1, Charlotte 0 on ESPN+.
These are the hands of Novant Health. The hands saving lives. taking control when it matters most. These are the hands advancing care. They're skillful, precise, and compassionate.
It's gonna be okay from here.
They're the hands giving you strength. Those same hands delivering specialized care also take the time to hold yours. And they'll be waving goodbye as you walk out of our doors and back to your life. These are the hands of Novant Health, the hands making healthcare remarkable.
Tejada.
¿No encuentras tu tarjeta de débito? Desactívala con tu app.
Disculpa, estoy buscando mi tarjeta.
Esta es la tuya, ¿cierto?
Sí.
Y cuando la encuentres, vuélvela a activar.
Thanks. It's like a smart thing. What's the weather?
Sunny. Perfect chicken eating weather.
How'd you get in here?
It's time for chicken.
What's the traffic like?
Rerouting you to chicken.
Okay.
Hey, Calzo, order pizza.
Ordering chicken.
No, pizza.
Chicken.
Okay, chicken it is.
Chick-fil-A nuggets make dinner delightful.
Now that's smart.
Halftime in Charlotte, where the Rowdies on the road, desperate for 3 points. Frankly, both teams are, but it's the Rowdies who've made the better statement here early on and have that 1-0 advantage. Take a look at the USL schedule from around the league here this evening after a nice first half from Tampa Bay. Hopefully. Somewhere along the way, we'll take a look at the schedule. In the meantime, Ryan, your thoughts on the way the Rowdies have really come out nicely on the road?
I think the Rowdies needed to have a first half the way they did after the crushing loss to Nashville last week, and they've worked their way in excellently in this first half.
Here's a look at that schedule here for the games that are coming up. Anything in particular that grabs your attention?
But I see Charleston in the 11, who are very much in the hunt for that top 4 or 5 spot, have a good game against Charleston Battery coming up.
In particular on the Charlotte side, we mentioned how this is a tough stretch for them, playing Tampa Bay tonight and then at New York the next time out, with some other teams that are certainly trying to solidify themselves in the upper half of the league.
Well, if they can get a point against Tampa Bay and a point against New York and then make a run in the last 4 matches, they're in with a chance.
Definitely would have a chance if they can somehow pull that off. They need some help. The Rowdies, meanwhile, at the moment, control their own destiny in a lot of ways. They still need some results here late, but they like where they're at, thinking they could have a home playoff game in sight.
Yeah, trying to see out tonight's game and get 3 points. Then they play against number 16, Atlanta United on the road, at home. And then go on the road into Canada in Ottawa. That's going to be an iffy game for them. Ottawa is 8th in the league. They're a tough customer. That seems to be the tricky game. And of course, the looming scheduled game against Louisville City away at Louisville on September 28th. Should be a barn burner, as they say.
Hard to wrap your head around Louisville City this year and some of the results that they've had. Obviously, the 2-time defending champions in the league. They have had some high highs and some low lows, but they are certainly dangerous this time of year. We'll take another timeout. When we come back, we'll give you some news and notes around the league, and of course, highlights and stats coming up shortly. Halftime coverage presented to you by Wells Fargo. We'll be right back here in Charlotte.
On top of the box, strikes it true, back of the net. Oh, what a finish! Bustamante
The attempt at an amazing goal. Or maybe a goal of the year candidate from Rodrigo da Costa.
And here we go again.
Kadimba! Oh, what a strike.
Has been in the 11. And there's an effort from distance with Irving off his line. And that's a goal for the highlight reel there.
Obert there. Plua. Shot goal! Plua with the bicycle! Conrad Plua! Dillon goes for goal. Oh, what a strike from Justin Dillon!
Now Gallardo for his brace tonight. Still Gallardo. A nutmeg of St. Phil. What an opportunity for Joe Gallardo. A brace. And it's 4 goals for the Richmond Kickers. Mikey Rowe now. Rowe takes it on and it's in. What a strike. And Tormenta. Very patient. Here's Bermudez now back on his left foot. A curler for the top corner. Oh, what a goal. Bermudez. Run. Torre will shoot. He will score. Javon Torre. What did you say that you walked in? Oh, something. Something's done it. Oh my goodness. Lubin, what a save. Outstanding individual effort. They stand together.
That sure will be a fun game to watch, won't it? Las Vegas and Phoenix coming up on Wednesday Night Soccer. Meanwhile, tonight, Tampa Bay 1, Charlotte 0, as we take a look at some news and notes around the league. Why don't we start with Phoenix Rising FC and the absolutely unbelievable year that they've had. They just keep winning.
Phoenix Rising, this is not a fluke. This has been a contained run of gathering points week in and week out. They are the front runners, and quite rightly so. Big time game, Wednesday Night Soccer against Las Vegas Lights. Should be an absolute dandy to watch that one.
In the meantime, this is that time of year where things get really fun, Ryan, because there are a lot of teams that are in contention, not just to get in, but to figure out exactly where they're going to fall. You start looking at potential matchups. Playoffs are going to be here before you know it.
Yeah, this is September, like we said. October will be here in a hurry, and this is when the posturing begins for playoffs.
Take a look at the standings here, brought to you by Wells Fargo. Obviously in the table here in the East. If these results hold, Tampa Bay will move up to the number 2 spot. But entering the night, they have 49 points. So this is what things would look like as a live standings look. And frankly, this is exactly how the Rowdies want it to look at the end of the night.
Correct. Just be 1 point behind the New York Red Bulls, just right in the thick of things to try and get that number 1 seed going into the playoffs. That would be huge for the Rowdies.
Referenced the 5-1 win earlier for Hartford over Loudoun, one of the biggest wins in Hartford recent memory, and a 5-0 win for Birmingham is also quite a statement down against Atlanta United. But how about a final on Wednesday, Indy over New York 1-0.
But that was the battle of the big boys, and Indy 11 having a couple games in hand against the top 5. What a result that was to close that gap and try to leapfrog themselves into the mix of the top 4. Indy 11 are shaping up to be a heck of a contender coming down the stretch.
Phoenix has run away with the West, but the East really feels like it's anybody's race, and it's going to make these last 7 weeks an awful lot of fun. Halftime brought to you by Wells Fargo. It will return. Highlights and stats coming at you next here on ESPN+.
My card.
Misplace your debit card? Turn it off with your app.
Excuse me, my card.
This one's gotta be yours, right?
Yes.
And turn it on when you find it.
This is your health system, powered by Exos. Exos programs are shaped by science, driven by data, and dedicated to pioneering human performance at every level.
We train from youth ages through the professional ranks, in addition to the adult general population.
Though the goals of each individual may differ, the philosophy and approach are identical. Mindset, nutrition, movement, and recovery. These are the pillars of Exos programs and the foundation on which all athletic improvement is built.
They take you beyond the simplicity of the exercise and connect that to how it impacts your final performance.
Exos got me back in shape. I'm feeling great, sleeping well, eating right, body's back where it needs to be.
Rapids on three, rapids on three. 1, 2, 3, rapids!
Thanks. It's like a smart thing. What's the weather?
Sunny. Perfect chicken eating weather.
How'd you get in here?
It's time for chicken.
What's the traffic like?
Rerouting you to chicken.
Okay.
Hey, Calzo, order pizza.
Ordering chicken.
No, pizza.
Chicken.
Okay, chicken it is.
Chick-fil-A nuggets make dinner delightful.
Now that's smart.
Halftime presented by Wells Fargo with Tampa Bay out front of Charlotte 1-0 at the Sportsplex at Matthews. Take a look at some of our first half highlights. The biggest highlight of them all came awfully early on. Tejada scored early thanks to this ball from Fernandez, went straight across.
Well, Leo Fernandez using his skill on that left-hand side, a dangerous ball across, and the Fox in the box gets his 9th goal for the season, 7th assist for Leo Fernandez, and puts Coach Collins and this Rowdies team in a commanding early position. Gwenzati making the decision, waiting for the runner, and there was Tejada with the finish.
Well, the look on Brandon Miller's face said it all. He couldn't believe that that ball got snuck by him. There were a few chances here and there. This was a good quality look for Charlotte.
Well, Bocanegra, we talked about him being a dangerous component for the game. Finds himself on the 18-yard box, gets all his laces on this one, almost beats McCarthy, but it just shows how dangerous he is coming from deep. Enzo Martinez to Taku, again an excellent delivery. His header just a little too far down, bounces over the goal, but it just shows how dangerous they can be from the cross balls and also having guys run into the box.
John McCarthy took a big, deep breath there. Meanwhile, how about that shot ripped by Dominic Oduro?
Well, Dominic Oduro, playing defensive midfield, never shies away from a shot. This is number 20 for the season, and it just skims over the crossbar. Looking at the possession, 54% for the Rowdies, 46% for the Independents. Rowdies taking command. Shots on target, Rowdies 2 shots, 0 to the Charlotte Independents. That has to change for the home team in order to affect the score. Overall shots, both teams usually average 9 shots a game. They're both going to exceed that tonight, showing that they're willing to get in front of goal and try to create some sort of opportunity.
Yeah, I would argue if you look at some of these numbers, the game looks like it's pretty evenly matched so far, but if you've watched the first 45 minutes, Tampa Bay, to me, seems like the team that's superior tonight.
Correct. The possession the Rowdies have had has been possession with a purpose, and they've been creating more chances. They look like they're more designed to break a team down, while Charlotte a little bit more mix and match, sort of not having a direction, while the Rowdies have a clear direction and plan on how to break down teams.
See if Tejada might have another opportunity in him later tonight. Certainly wants to try to get to that double-digit goal-scoring mark here this evening if he can.
We're ready. We're ready.
Charlotte Independence. Toughness has been questioned at times. They need to find a way to be a little bit tougher. And frankly, they've got ability. I don't think there's any doubt about that. But they have a chance to make a big statement here on their home field in the second half.
You know, I look at this lineup that Charlotte has. I see Alex Martinez and I see Bocanegra, 2 fantastic players on the board. But there's no disruptor. There's no destroyer like a Dominic Oduro for the Rowdies have, who gets crunched, gets stuck in, as they say, and wins tackles and creates a counter-attack situation. So these 2 classy midfielders in the center circle for Charlotte could sort of work against them in regards to breaking plays up, and by breaking plays up, creating chances on the other end.
Bring up Dominic Oduro's name. We probably didn't do a good enough job early on referencing the fact that Dominic Oduro's on both sides here and that it's obviously two different players, but their names are spelled exactly the same way. Dominic Oduro for Charlotte, 34 years old. He's from Ghana. He has had a marvelous career in Major League Soccer for Dallas, New York, Houston, Chicago. He played in Columbus, Toronto, of course, for Montreal. Spent last year with San Jose, but this year in his first season in USL, and he's had a good run. On the other side, you've got a guy in Tampa Bay who has a 24-year-old Ghana native in Dominic Oduro, who's playing in the USL for the second consecutive year. And I think he's hoping he can have the kind of career that his opposition has.
And this off-season, they're not related. They're both from Ghana, and they actually took a picture together in this off-season.
Love it.
And they put it on the web just to show the two Dominic Oduros in the USL. It was a great shot.
So if you're not a diehard fan of one of these two teams and you think maybe we're crazy because we're saying the same name for both teams, but, there is a reason for that. Offside flag goes up. Frankly, they're both pretty capable of scoring, and so at some point you might see one of them put one in the back of the net.
Both can score goals, but two different types of players. Dominic Oduro, the 33-year-old from Charlotte, definitely the out-and-out goal scorer, the shrewd striker. While the Dominic Oduro for Tampa Bay, the hard-nosed disruptor who sits in front of the back three for Tampa and tries to get stuck in and win tackles, but definitely does not shy away of having a crack on goal from any distance.
John McCarthy sends that one up the field. Juan Tejada in the 7th minute. That's our only goal of the night, but far from the only chance. Tejada has it on his feet here. Fernandez plays back into the middle. Morat. Miscommunication on the turnover.
Tarek Morat was in two minds to pass the ball to Malik Johnson or Seba Gwenzati. So what did he do? He passed it right in between to the defender.
Oduro and Tejada. Back to Dom.
It was a Dominic Oduro-esque type challenge there, as you can see the player writhing in pain on the grass.
Still needs a moment. It was Bocanegra that went down. How about Fernandez looking for an opening to take a shot? Flicks this one over to the right side. They've got a serious chance. Tejada sneaks in and scores! Totally unmarked. Juan Tejada, a brace. And the Rowdies lead it 2-0.
Well, Juan Tejada just hit double digits in goals. That's number 10. Coach Collins fixes his pants in relaxation mode now as that ever important number 2 goal comes in. Seba Gwenzati gets that ball in the box from a clever run from Leo Fernandez. Here's Fernandez cutting across, finding his captain. Here's Poku wide open, but he finds Tejada in the back post. Again, the Fox in the box, getting himself open with the tap in. And that makes it 2-0 Rowdies. And now it's going to be all uphill for this Charlotte Independence team.
It's Gwenzati that's got 14 goals on the year and has taken a lot of attention, but a 2-goal night in less than an hour's time for Juan Tejada. And Tampa Bay on the road looking good.
Well, a couple of weeks ago, Coach Collins wanted to get Juan Tejada back with Seba Gwenzati up top, and really wanted Tejada to get back on that score sheet. He had a long drought without any goals. And now that Tejada's got these 2 goals tonight, it really puts Coach Collins at ease going forward. This is the duo he wants up top in the perfect world. And if he can get Tejada...
Zabela throws one toward the net there.
If he can get a Tejada with confidence going into the playoffs or within that playoff stretch, it's the perfect world for Coach Collins and this Rowdies team.
Tejada was just a step behind Stephen Tico. Yeah, you're right. If you get that combination up top, and you can get Poku not drawing as much attention but playing with confidence, all of a sudden Tampa Bay might become the team to beat in the East. 51st minute, Enzo Martinez working with Taku.
Yep.
There's Enzo's brother, Alex Martinez. So we have Dominica Duros everywhere, and we have Martinez's everywhere.
Oh, claim him.
The Martinez brothers from Uruguay. Seba Guenzati from Uruguay. I'm sure they're going to have a conversation or two after this 90 minutes.
Well, and frankly, the Martinez brothers enjoyed playing together now for several years, which is
what a luxury that is.
Nice luxury, no doubt. Taku wants to cut toward the middle. He right foots it into the middle of the defense. Caleb Richards was there to send it away. You might think about the ability to play with your brother. We'll get back to that in a second. Tejada apparently is onside. Does he have a third one in him? Brandon Miller makes a fabulous save. I think everybody was waiting for the flag to go up. It just never came.
Well, talk about having too much time to think about it. Juan Tejada counted the days of the week, the minutes in the hour, and the seconds in the minute, and decided to kick the ball straight to Brandon Miller. Brandon Miller, I thought, backed off from that long ball while he should have gone towards it rather. He backed off, gave Tejada all sorts of time. And Tejada, who's on a hat trick, just couldn't finish it.
But a ball over the top for Sabela. Well defended. Caleb Richards deflects it out of play for a corner.
It looks like these two teams are getting stretched as the Rowdies back three almost got one over the top. And 2 minutes before that, the Charlotte back four got a ball over the top.
Corner kick brought to you by Chick-fil-A. Enzo Martinez will send it in with the right foot.
Come on, you could have figured that.
Probably not what he had in mind.
Disappointing delivery by Martinez. Just had that one responsibility to get it over that first line. And in the end, the man himself, Malik Johnson, who had the first block, has possession now.
Johnson makes a sweet move to his right. He's got room to go. Wants to cut back.
Just the ability to get past players really makes things easier for your teammates.
Hernandez plays it into the middle. Now Tampa Bay is controlling the midfield nicely. Hernandez has room, cuts in. Wanted to wind up and take a shot, but overcooked it.
I wonder if Leo Fernandez was thinking about the play before when he dribbled across the box, found Guenzati, and they scored. But he had every opportunity to let his right foot get on that ball. This time, I think he was thinking about it.
I think you're onto it.
And had a crack. But I think that idea entered into his head about 3 or 4 minutes before that.
Well, when you have a 2-0 lead, it's a little easier to pull that trigger for sure.
Good call, yep.
Meanwhile, Taku on the other end. He wants to center one. It was nicely done, but good defense from Diakite.
With Leo Fernandez's ability to go forward, it opens up Taku's space to deliver balls into the box.
Diakite.
Fernandez, who's done such a good job defensively as well, would have to be mindful of Taku's ability to serve the ball.
Let's go back to the Martinez brothers for just a second while we have a minute here. Look, you can talk about the field of play all you want, but when you're playing in your non-native country, having somebody that you can rely on off the field to make your life more comfortable, to make your everyday that much more quote-unquote normal for you, it helps enhance what you can do on the field.
Well, his big brother Enzo Martinez was drafted by the MLS Colorado Rapids, did not work out, came to his brother here in Charlotte, has flourished. I mean, 2-time runner-up MVP, Enzo Martinez. It just shows there's so much life off the field as there is on the field, that it plays a big factor in how you are in your place of work.
Everybody talks about work-life balance. Those two guys able to lean on each other. Again, what an advantage. Meanwhile, Taku apparently wanted to take it out on the cement wall, which of course is going to send it back to him just as hard as he kicked it in.
Cement wall 1, Taku 0.
Tampa Bay 2, Charlotte 0. We're in the 56th minute tonight. Get all the latest Independence gear now. Shop CharlotteIndependence.com. Looks like Charlotte might be making a sub here shortly. Everybody's trying to get themselves organized. Jorge Herrera. Looks like he is stretching. Meanwhile, up the left-hand side.
For anyone who knows anything about the USL, Jorge Herrera, a living legend, a living, breathing legend, is now warming up. Just can't wait to see this guy. 38-year-old Colombian. Top 3, I think top 2 in all-time USL scoring charts. Just a joy to watch. Oh, Kwame Poku, stop it.
Poku cuts to his left. Got tackled, he wanted a call, but didn't get it. He's not usually one to complain a whole lot. And now Taku goes the other way with some room. Drills one off of Richards. Just as quickly as it developed, things died out. Meanwhile, the counter the other way.
Oh.
Excellent play over the top. Poku might have something here. Tried to just bull rush Alex Martinez. And forgot the ball.
Great recovery by Martinez. Good ball by Seba Guenzati. Just left it up in the air just a little too long for Martinez to recover. Oh, by the way, that is Caleb Richards at left center back over here. Shows the confidence of this young man. From Norwich City, who currently plays in the EPL. He's on loan to the Rowdies. I'm sure Coach Collins will do whatever it takes to make sure his loanee stays here next season.
Not about that. Meanwhile, Herrera replaces Dominic Oduro for Charlotte. 38-year-old Bogota, Colombia.
So often we look at sports and we look at speed and size. A 33-year-old Dominic Oduro just came off, and a 38-year-old Colombian, who by the way is in the top 3 or I think top 2 in scoring ever in the USL, has just come on. This guy does it with guile, skill, and know-how. Just a joy to watch. And if you're a fan of soccer, do not take your eyes off of the number 10 for Charlotte.
Playing in domestic club competition, 86 career goals for Jorge Herrera. This guy has found a way to just make an impact over and over again. Roberts. More to go. First sub of the game, by the way, for either team. This ball's driven just barely wide right, not by much. Sabela has certainly taken a couple of good looks on frame tonight. Not afraid to pull the trigger.
What a talent young Sabela is from Argentina. Played for the Fort Lauderdale Soldiers that had an impressive run in the US Open Cup. And as a result, found his way onto the Charlotte Independence team not long after that run in the US Open Cup.
Isn't it great how the US Open Cup can provide opportunities like that for guys to launch a career maybe they didn't even realize they could have?
Just want to touch on American soccer on a whole. We just talked about the US Open Cup quite rightly. But what about the USL providing this platform? 3 leagues.
Amen.
For the talent to come and showcase their talent and to grow. A place, a garden for them to grow, almost.
It's incredible.
And American soccer will reap the rewards sooner rather than later as a result.
They certainly hope so. Lost to Trinidad and Tobago was frustrating.
I had a conversation the other day with Drew Felios about the USA Trinidad loss. That went back to 1989. I was a little boy in the Trinidad stadium eating my popcorn and All the Soca Warriors needed that day was a draw to qualify for the 1990 World Cup, first World Cup ever for the Trinidad. And America came in with nothing to lose and beat Trinidad 1-0. The US went to the World Cup, Trinidad stayed at home. It was heartbreaking for the island. So 2 years ago, when Trinidad beat USA to not go to the World Cup, there was a bit of a sweet revenge involved.
No doubt about that. Roberts almost flicked that one with his left hand.
Here comes the heat as we speak.
Yeah, you might want to block your Twitter handle. Oh man, got a substitution coming on. Tampa Bay is going to make a change here. Lucky Mksana.
Lucky Mksana came across in the trade with Antoine Hopeno back in June. He's completely flourished. Exactly what Seba Gwenzati needed to play off of. It's also his second stint for this Rowdies team, and his third year altogether to play for the Rowdies.
Foul on Roberts. He is irate.
Just so you know, that's his third. Just so you know.
Well, it's the type of free kick where you don't expect Leo Fernandez to have a crack, but it's close enough for him to provide some very awkward service for this Charlotte team. Here it is again. Ball into Hara. Looks like it was Chico, or was it Roberts? Just wanted to take a free ride onto Hara's back.
Yeah, Roberts, he's known for this kind of play. He certainly is an aggressive guy. We'll see what kind of left-footed action Fernandez has here for the back post. Headed into the middle. Tejada thought perhaps he had a chance at a third. The secondary opportunity fizzles out. Mksana couldn't get a shot off. Some way, somehow, Tampa did not get a penalty.
This other coach is awesome.
Coach Collins bringing out every bit of Scottish vocabulary he has for that one. Great ball in Fernandez, headed back across by Gwenzati, and a clear shove in the back on Juan Tejada. No penalty given. Referee swallows the whistle. And Coach Collins is irate.
Jorge Herrera got away with one there. It's still Tampa Bay 2, Charlotte nothing. Malik Johnson on the cross. Looking for Tejada. Now Fernandez left side. Cuts to his right, has a window. Mksana couldn't come down with it. And then a ball just cracked way out of the play by Gwenzati.
You almost want Hugh Roberts to be a little more aggressive there. If when Leo Fernandez or Malik Johnson gets so close into the box, it becomes so hard for the centre backs to defend the delivery. You want that wing back to get right up on him. No daylight. As we saw Charlotte breathe a sigh of relief there, but it becomes ever increasingly difficult for the centre backs to defend against the delivery when the winger gets so close into the box.
That's a sloppy tackle in the midfield. Jordan Doherty, the Irishman, a little short-tempered there. Alex Martinez had some thoughts.
Looks like the referee made it very clear. No free kick till the whistle is blown.
Coaches.
50-50 call just now, and he went the way of Charlotte. Jordan Doherty, I'm sure, was disappointed with that.
Alex Martinez. Meanwhile, Lucky Mksana comes on for Kwadwo Poku. Mksana has the ball here. Quickly, your thoughts on the way Poku played this evening?
So far, so good. He's been adventurous, exactly what Coach Collins wants. He's been pushed up to the attacking midfield area, and as a result, you have to be aggressive. Poku has done just that.
All right, Malik Johnson on that right side.
No, he's saying that to the ref.
It didn't really result in much. Poku's night is over early in the second half. There's still a good 25 minutes Plus stoppage time for Charlotte to try and make something happen. That's another sloppy challenge. Can't extend your forearm into the back of a leaping player. That one was on Aaron Mond.
Well, Aaron Mond, like a true center back, is going to let the striker know he's there. Long ball over the top. Aaron Mond gets right up on Seba Gwenzati. Forward, feeling the contact, and goes down. Wins the free kick.
The winner of our Ricardo Bocanegra autographed Mexico jersey. Tonight's winner, Avi Morrison. Avi Morrison,
Derek Murat
you have won tonight's Ricardo Bocanegra.
Decides to play short.
Mexico jersey page. We also have an additional prize.
Johnson. Kosana couldn't get there. Lucky called for the foul.
A great anticipation by Aaron Mond. Knowing the ball is going to come in, gets right in front of Lucky and Kosana and picks his pocket. Kosana using all his arms.
Charlotte fans, next home game Saturday, September 21st. Against Swope Park Rangers. Great seats still available, which you can purchase online at charlotteindependence.com. Trying to come up with some kind of equalizing effort tonight, and they've got some work to do before they can get to a second goal. Find a first somehow. Charlotte's only taken 2 shots the entire second half. They've had trouble working the ball consistently deep into Tampa Bay's end of the field.
Just looking at the hopeful ball into the box, so hard to beat this back three when it's all set. In order to beat this Rowdies back three, the ball has to be in motion. It has to go left and right quickly. With the back three is shifting in motion. When they're standing still with cover, the ball over the top is just going to be a very low percentage pass, if you will.
Deflected out for a Tampa Bay throw.
That's when people like Alex Martinez and Bocanegra have to get the ball in the middle and dictate the direction quickly enough where you have this Rowdies team going from left to right. Get this back three in motion.
32 is coming in for 17. White, not yet. They're getting it ready. For White, 32.
Knocked straight down quickly. Rolled out. Negra lurking in the middle. Flip sides of the field here. This is Aaron Mond. Right-footed toward the top of the box. Nobody in a blue shirt there. A little give and go. Martinez couldn't get it back though. Perhaps Hugh Roberts. Taku to his right, battling with Fernandez. Fernandez just won't give up on it. Well done.
There's Leo Fernandez taking pride in his defensive assignments in that left wing back position.
Ready?
How about a long range shot? Rolled low from Aaron Mond. He put both his hands on the shoulders of Dominic Oduro.
Great job by Hara closing down Caleb Richards.
Looks like Jaime Siage going to come on for Tampa Bay, which means no more opportunity for Juan Tejada this evening. But 2 goals for Tampa Bay Rowdies, a night for Tejada to remember, his 9th and 10th of the year. The Spanish national will take his spot.
Jaime Siage, an accomplished forward, like you said, from Spain. It represents Jordan for a national team. Juan Tejada on a hat-trick. Coach Collins has to be happy. I'm sure the little Tejada a little disappointed to come out on a hat-trick. But what a good night for him and for the Rowdies thus far.
Second substitution for Tampa Bay, and both of them have come on the offensive side.
This is going to be Siage's 7th appearance for the season. Had a terrible shoulder injury that took him out for 3/4 of the season.
Enzo Martinez turns it over to the right. Good defense. It's really well done. And Diakite sends it way up the field, where Siaj fights for it. He is fouled. Flying right arm from Tico, and he is put in the book.
Well, once that ball bounces, it becomes very uncomfortable for the center back. He tried to get there and head it out before it bounces, but Tico could not get there. Tried to body off the fresh legs of Jaime Siaj. Looks like he raised his elbow a little too high.
I actually thought he might have got him with the hand, like the full extension. Well, I don't think he meant anything too malicious by it, but
seemed to be inadvertent. But as long as that forearm slash elbow comes towards the player's face, the referees are not going to be lenient.
On the left-hand side, they'll play through Fernandez out wide. He tries to center it toward Kosana.
Three clear.
Looks like it was a handball in the end by Leo Fernandez. Inadvertent, but handball nonetheless. Great job defensively by Charlotte, staying compact, staying with their marks, and in the end, just blocking Fernandez's cross.
Tampa Bay 2, Charlotte nothing. 72nd minute at the Sportsplex at Matthews.
Still looking for the long-lost Enzo Martinez here.
He's had some touches tonight, but he really hasn't had any chances to take really good-looking shots. You're right, as Taku hangs one up, and the idea might have been well-intended, but well out of play.
Well, Taku had 3 to 4 great deliveries thus far in the match. And just that one bad cross, but he's had an excellent game so far on that right-hand side. So Jaime Siaj and Lucky Kosana now up top for the Rowdies. Looks like Gwenzati has dropped into that attacking midfield position.
Johnson and Oduro work together.
Gwenzati definitely does not have the flair and touch of a Tanari or a Poku, but certainly has the speed and trickery to create things for this Rowdies team, the Rowdies forwards.
I'll help. I want to yell at him too.
Siaj, back to Nkosana. Siaj tacking right through Brandon Miller's legs. 3-0 Rowdies. Siaj strikes and makes it a 3-goal night.
Well, that is a coach's dream. Brings on his 2 subs, makes 2 decisions, and they combine perfectly for the commanding 3-goal lead. Jaime Siaj getting an opportunity to turn, looks up, finds Lucky with the 1-2, and what a cool finish through the legs of Brandon Miller rather. And that is 3-0. You can put the jello in the fridge, turn off the lights. Time to get the comforter out.
Siaj with just his 2nd goal of the season comes in the 74th minute.
I thought it was just green for Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay had a pretty frustrating last game out against Nashville, another team that is at the very upper end of the standings. They are, frankly, taking it out on Charlotte Independence tonight.
Loss number 8.
Meanwhile, if you're the Independents, in danger of running your winless streak now to 8. They need 3 goals in 15 minutes. They have not registered even 3 shots here in this half. Siaj trying to catch up to it.
Well, the Rowdies have had 5 losses thus far this season. And coming out of a loss, their record going into this game was 3 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw. So that'll be 4 wins now if this score holds coming out of a loss. Just
it's Valentin Sabela coming out. Isaac Enking on.
That is complete credit to Coach Collins, getting his players right back on track mentally to go and get points in the very next game after a loss. Some teams take that loss and onto the field the next game. Coach Collins does a great job getting them ready for the next contest. The Rowdies looks like they're going to be 4-1-1 coming off of a loss. Just what a way to bounce back. Just shows the mentality of this team and their coach.
No doubt, sign of a good team. It's twofold. It's one, being able to get results when you're not playing at your best, and two, being able to put the brakes quickly on bad games and not let them become bad weeks and bad months. Enzo Martinez with the right foot, and that one was deflected straight up into the air. Enzo fighting there with Guenzati. Tampa Bay on the move. Foul's whistled on Fernandez. 77th minute. And cross is blocked. Away some scores from other games tonight. North Carolina leads Bethlehem Steel in the 77th minute, 3-2. As one of the Rowdies is down. That is Diakite. No score between Pittsburgh and Louisville City in the 77th minute. Atlanta United 2 has a 2-1 lead on Ottawa in the 47th minute. Colorado Springs and Austin, they are scoreless in the 34th. Same exact story between Swope Park and Memphis. A couple games just kicked off in the Western Conference. RGV and Tulsa tonight, St. Louis and Nashville. And frankly, the game of the week across the league, I realize it's not branded as such, but Reno and Fresno later tonight. Number 2 and number 3 out west. That is a real heavyweight match. Oh yeah, and that team in Phoenix that hasn't lost in about 6 years, it feels like. They're playing San Antonio tonight. All kidding aside, it's been fun to watch Phoenix of late.
You know, just touching on the Western Conference, look like Sacramento may have a chance to get in the MLS. They just presented, you know, the paperwork and show their goals as a club. And looks like the MLS are taking notice, and they may be the next, well, one of the next couple of teams to get in with an MLS team. Just shows where this sport is touching in this country, every single corner, and everything in between as well. It is growing at a rapid rate.
Obviously, FC Cincinnati was a great example. We're as good as anybody across USL and able to make that jump. Sacramento is well supported. Meanwhile, Tampa Bay Rowdies seem to be okay there after brief stoppage or stretching out.
Looked like it was Malik Johnson, second time he's gone down today.
Roberts needs some help. Tampa Bay has been able to clear too easily and counter too quickly all night long for Charlotte.
I think it's a case where Charlotte has to pay just a little bit more attention to their defensive duels, if you will, in the center of the field. The game has won and lost in the center circle. And Charlotte have certainly lost the battle here in the center circle.
19 for 14. Unless something.
Yeah.
Wide right.
If something changes,
Malik Johnson just decided, you know what? No reason to press it here. Wonder if perhaps that may have been in part because of stretching out that right leg. I don't want to speculate, but he does have his hands on his knees for a moment.
There's a bit of game management now at 3-0.
Sure.
You certainly have to know where you are in the game. You try to get the team as close together as possible. You don't want it to get stretched out. If the team does get stretched out and possession is lost, a lot of gaps for counterattacks. But the team stays close and compact in possession. If they do lose possession, they can quickly close on the ball and prevent counterattacks. As we see the Rowdies try to stay, as we say, compact here.
Find the ball, blue, stop.
Got a sub coming in.
Okay, we got the sub here.
So Tampa's going to make a change. Sean Barry will come on for Leo Fernandez, who had that assist very early on, and frankly, Fernandez was as much an initiator of the offense as anyone. And at the moment, he has no idea that he's coming out of the game. He still has no clue.
Looks like it's Malik Johnson now.
Okay, they've changed it because Johnson was a little limp. No surprise.
Well, it's a natural change. Sean Barry does play the right wing back position. He actually started in that position for this Rowdies team this year. Started off excellently. Made the USL Team of the Week, second week this year. The Puerto Rican international. And he's the perfect fit for the Malik Johnson switch. Just show the depth of this Rowdies team. As Sean Barry went down, David Najim stepped in. And then when David Najim went down, Malik Johnson was ready to take that spot on the right of midfield / defense.
Meanwhile, Charlotte's getting ready to make their final substitution of the night as well. Tampa Bay has exhausted their 3. Looks like Stephen Tico might be the next one to make his way off the pitch.
Well, this is a sort of an interesting position for Charlotte. It's too far for a shot, but just enough range where you can get that ball over and into the box. Here it is.
It's a good-looking chance. The ball was redirected on frame twice, a third time, and Roberts puts it in. McCarthy barking at the near side referee, begging for the flag to have gone up for an offside. Hugh Roberts puts Charlotte on the board, 3-1.
Well, Hugh Roberts blows kisses to the crowd. Coach Mike Jeffries, a big supporter of set pieces. And what a great job by Charlotte. Great ball in. The second attempt, it was Bocanegra with an excellent volley. Taku with the follow-up. And Hugh Roberts with the finish. A bit of tenacity by the Charlotte team on that set piece. And it results in a goal. Well, 3-1. With just about 8 to 7 minutes left in regular time. Could be 10 minutes total with extra time.
It's Clay Dimmick that comes on to replace Stephen Tico at left center back. So Dimmick is on for the final minutes of regulation. This ball was deflected into the air left side. Boy, that was a dangerous opportunity as Fernandez rolled one across. It was almost as if that was to say, hey, I know you're going to sub me off, but you can't afford to take me off the field.
Well, that was more of a cross sort of shot by Leo Fernandez. Just wanted to put it with pace across the mixer, or into the mixer, as they would say, where good things happen. Very, very hard to defend that. Lucky Kusana just couldn't get on the end of it. But he breathes some sort of life into this Charlotte team.
On the right side, Murad over the top. Well, for nothing else, Charlotte at least feels like something's been accomplished here with that goal, but they are searching not for goals, but for results.
Yeah.
And because they're still down by 2, they're going to need something magical late. It's been a challenging year. Of course, Mike Jeffries was the coach last year, went into a more oversight role in the front office this year, then was brought back onto the sideline. A couple of different systems, although it's been largely the same group of players. It's a challenging year, and they've been in a lot of games, but been unable to finish off many of them.
Yeah, I mean
tonight, 5, 11, and 11. Just think about if they could have just swung half of those draws back into the win category, they'd be right in the hunt. Taku sends this one up in the air, and McCarthy comes to get it.
I'm glad you brought up Coach Mike Jeffries, because coaching goes through stages. Coach Jeffries comes back into the mix. You see this Independence team looking for a way, some direction in the last third. You look at the Rowdies team with Coach Collins, who had some time with his players. They have a clear direction on what they want to do, using their wings, coming back in the middle, so on and so forth. This Independence team, they do a good job in keeping possession, but there's no purposeful possession. Enzo Martinez seems to be a little bit lost, can't find his way in the last third, and I think that takes a little bit of time. If Coach Jeffries stays there for next season, you'll definitely see this squad with more of a direction in the last third of the field, and that's going to result in goals and results.
You get the feeling that they're not terribly far.
Yeah. And that's, again, credit to Jeffries for bringing this on a lot quicker than it should.
Roberts called for flinging that arm out to the side. The eyes there of Greg Dapka. He hit Jaime Siage in the face. Roberts has been a vocal guy all season long. Tonight, he scores a goal, so perhaps he earns a little bit more of a leash. Hara then had his own words.
Chaos.
Well, this is taking
Nothing now.
somewhere along the way.
For the Rowdies, it's exactly what they want. As much time to go off of that clock as possible.
Might have a chance to take a good look there. And Sally just barely sliding in. It still isn't clear of danger.
It's hard with the delay to show some
Great pass by Sean Barry. Heavy touch by Jamie Siage. Here comes the Independence with a bit of life and a bit of a counter-attack here.
Taku cut off by Richards. Defense trying to recoup. Siage needs some help. Actually, beg your pardon, that's Fernandez.
Fernandez, what a ball handler. Under pressure. Just takes his time, goes around the blue shirts, and finds space for everyone else.
Lion King right behind him and still didn't lose it. Doherty. The effort he's brought tonight.
Did his job perfectly. Played the perfect away game role.
That's a lot.
Very conservative in front of the back three.
Like that ain't been that many.
Partner Dominic Aduro, just off of Aduro's left shoulder.
Roberts rolls it over.
I think there was a bit of a fear with Enzo Martinez in that gap where Doherty is right now, and Dominic Aduro. I think that's the reason Doherty was also brought in as well, to try to bring some defensive reinforcements in that area of the field.
That's, yeah, but then there's
seems to have worked
one
as Enzo Martinez has struggled to find any sort of room.
Played in from the right side. Dimmick put a good ball in the middle of the box. Great service. Fizzles out quickly, but Charlotte's still showing here late with some fight.
Yeah, don't look now, that's the adventurous Hugh Roberts, who was blowing kisses a couple minutes ago. Getting right back up in that box again, trying to get on the end of crosses.
McCarthy taking his time. And he sends it away. Pinballed around a little bit. Somebody lost their shoe. Good idea, played wide right. I should say wide left.
Speaking about crosses, Charlotte has crossed the goal on 16 occasions tonight. Not sure if that's by design or that's the only space they could have found. But 6 in the first half and 10 thus far in the second half.
When I get in the corners, it's really dark.
Only one goal to show for their efforts. Here's a really good opportunity, top of the box. Then it faded away. Now Fernandez near side. He's got a little bit of a window, and Miller dives to his right. But Zati couldn't pull the trigger. Found Fernandez open left side. He took longer than I expected. Still ripped a good shot.
When we talk about possession with a purpose, the ball is driven into the box. Cosano finds Leo Fernandez. Brandon Miller, like any good goalkeeper, covers his near post.
So Fernandez will take the corner, looking at a minimum of 4 minutes stoppage time, which is brought to you by Jack's House. The corner kick is brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
Referee is blown for a goal kick. As Coach Colin has a smoke on his face.
Yeah, he did it already.
Charlotte. Can they come up with something that they would never forget? Got to go here, Dimmick. Throw in momentarily. Tejada. That's a good service across. Now nobody's marked in the backside. To reconnect with Enzo Martinez. Nothing there. Jorge Herrera wanted a ball too.
Well, going forward here, if you are the Rowdies, all eyes on Nashville. Red Bulls, of course, in the 11. The 11, third place.
And King. Not quite enough.
In the 11, 50 points at third position with 3 games in hand. Their destiny totally in their control. And if you are the Charlotte Independents, if this score stays the same, all eyes will be on Bethlehem Steel, Loudoun United, who are 2 points behind them. Of course, Charleston Battery.
A good little slip pass through. Guenzati decides not to attack. Just holds it in the corner.
Both teams do not have fixtures against their direct sort of influences. They can't influence the people they're going against. The Rowdies have no games against the Red Bulls, Nashville, or Indy 11 left. As do Charlotte have no games against Bethlehem Steel, Charleston Battery, or St. Louis. So they're going to be fully dependent on other teams to create havoc for them.
Yeah, and that's not a comfortable position.
It's not. A lot of sleepless nights as a coach.
And King throws one way up in the sky. Headed back into the middle. Enzo, back heel tap. Herrera back to Enzo. Fizzled out, corner kick.
Great control by Enzo Martinez. And back heel to Jorge Herrera, the ageless wonder. And corner kick for Charlotte. Just about 15 seconds left. The referee allowed extra time.
Corner kick brought to you by Chick-fil-A. Sally will take it.
Not sure if the linesman is seeing properly, but at least a piece of the ball has to be on the line.
Sally throws it into the middle. It skitters through.
I think in 15 seconds you let that one kind of go.
Disagree with you. Looks like they'll let this opportunity play out. Another service back in. Roberts already had one. And there is the full-time whistle. Tampa Bay Rowdies coming off a game which they felt they got snake bitten at home. They're able to come on the road and pick up 3 points in, frankly, a dominating performance over Charlotte Independence. Charlotte picked up a goal fairly late in the contest. Hugh Roberts, but a largely impressive effort tonight from pretty arguably the best couple of teams in the Eastern Conference. 3-1 the final.
Well, the Rowdies showing how complete of a team they are, bringing Jordan Doherty in. He covered the whole, the Tenari left. Excellent job by him and Aduro. And that back three, a sort of a comfortable 3-1 win here for the Rowdies, away from home. They were very, very savvy in front of goal and also took their chances, as you would say. Juan Tejada with the brace, and then Jaime Siage with the icing on the cake. There he is. puts Coach Collins in a very happy mood on a plane back to Tampa.
Tejada, the hero of the night, the youngster with a couple of goals, an impressive effort, no doubt about that. We'll have our post-game coverage coming up on the other side of this timeout. 3-1 Tampa Bay with a win tonight. 2 goals for Tejada, including that one early on to set the stage. And then Siaj finishes off with goal number 3. Post-game coming up next.
Thanks. It's like a smart thing. What's the weather?
Sunny. Perfect chicken eating weather.
How'd you get in here?
It's time for chicken.
What's the traffic like?
Rerouting you to chicken.
Okay.
Hey, Calzo, order pizza.
Ordering chicken.
No, pizza.
Chicken.
Okay, chicken it is.
Chick-fil-A nuggets make dinner delightful.
Now that's smart.
These are the hands of Novant Health. The hands saving lives. Taking control when it matters most. These are the hands advancing care. They're skillful, precise, and compassionate.
It's gonna be okay from here.
They're the hands giving you strength. Those same hands delivering specialized care also take the time to hold yours. And they'll be waving goodbye as you walk out of our doors and back to your life. These are the hands of Novant Health, the hands making healthcare remarkable.
Tampa Bay 3, Charlotte 1. Final score tonight brought to you by Wells Fargo. Well, it was not really the night that Charlotte Independence had hoped for. They failed to win now for the 8th consecutive night. They had drawn a tough opponent, no doubt about that. It was a difficult evening for them right from the get-go. Score your official Charlotte Independence debit card at wellsfargo.com with Card Design Studio. Here's tonight's save of the game, brought to you by Wells Fargo. Let's take a look at our save of the game tonight. The Charlotte Independence team was forced into a lot of those opportunities throughout the course of the night, but this was a pretty impressive one and an easy selection.
Rhonda Hara with the freedom of Sportsplex, and Brandon Miller making an excellent save on a one-on-one opportunity. And that is definitely the save of the game.
Brandon Miller did a decent job tonight, but struggled with some of the looks that were right in front, including this one from Guenzati to Fernandez, finished by Tejada.
Well, the Samba man got to the byline and found the fox in the box to go up 1-0. And when Tejada gets on the score sheet, the confidence rises and the Rowdies get onto full flow.
Not only did he get on the score sheet, but he did it in the 7th minute and really took control of this game early on. Watch Tejada here creeping down the backside.
Or just finding the space, and Guenzati putting the ball in a dangerous area. He sees the run, and there's Juan Tejada, tucks it away for a much-deserved 2-0 lead at this point.
That was his 10th goal of the season, but they weren't quite done yet. Jaime Siaj, who had just checked in, got that pass from another guy that had just checked in Moncosa.
Well, it was the used subs off the bench this time. It was Jaime Siaj and Lucky Nkosana combining the quick 1-2 and the finish by Siaj, 3-0 Rowdies.
Nkosana played well in his minutes for sure. McCarthy did everything he could to keep this out, but Roberts just happened to be in the right place at the right time on the 3rd chance.
Well, Bocanegra takes the first bite, second by Taku, and the 3rd bite of the apple by Hugh Roberts. Blows kisses, much deserved. The defender gets his goal, but too late. Just 3-1 Rowdies to finish the game.
Again, Charlotte actually had more possession than Tampa did, but it probably doesn't tell the whole story because Tampa Bay this evening, as you put it, they dominated in the midfield despite the fact that Charlotte has some pretty good midfielders.
Excellent midfielders in Alex Martinez and Bocanegra, but I think you have to get Martinez back out on maybe on the left-hand side and support Bocanegra with a more of a defensive midfielder to sort of win duels in the heart, in that center circle for this Independence team.
So with a loss, Charlotte goes to 5 12-11. Tampa goes to 15-5-7. Next up for Charlotte, they're at New York Red Bulls 2. It's coming up next weekend on Friday night. Tampa, well, they'll go back to home, and they'll play Atlanta 7:30 on Saturday night next weekend. For Ryan Davis and our entire production team, I'm Brendan Gulick. Good night from Charlotte, where the Rowdies are back in the win column. 3-1 tonight, the final.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.